not created to be in isolation. We grow by listening to others' perspectives and teaching and experiencing each other's gifts. In life's challenges, others can encourage, and their love and comfort can strengthen us. On one hand, someone's difference can provide us with fresh views. Though we do need to make sure that any community of faith is compatible for who we are and what we believe to aid our growth.
I think we live in a world where, with the rise of social media, it's very easy for us to embed ourselves in an echo chamber of our own experience and our own opinion, surrounding ourselves with those who agree with us. And so others in the course of our faith and in growing our faith help us to break out of those echo chambers and force us to maybe come to terms or to come to grips with an experience or a perspective that is not of our own, and really sit down and pay attention, which in turn allows us to explore new areas of faith and hopefully lead to a deepening of our faith.
The people who have helped me to grow most in my faith have been my youth leaders at church and on summer camp. They're particularly helpful because they're great role models, and I can talk to them about the things we're learning in the Bible, and I can also talk to like-minded kids my age, and we're all learning about God together.
A good example of somebody who's been great in my life would be my friend Dave, who actually let me stay with him for a couple of months when I first came back to God, and really inspired me to keep pushing through in my relationship and to get grounded both in God and back into church life.
People chaplains, because every week when we come together, we always talk about God and the Bible, which helps me a lot with my faith.
One of the ways in which my faith has grown over the years is to have a spiritual director. The director is a companion on the journey of life and faith, someone who listens attentively, who is non-judgmental and accepting, who challenges where appropriate, and affirms and encourages. It has been a really life-enhancing experience, an opportunity to explore all aspects of my faith, my struggles, my doubts, as well as my joys and that which gives me life. It has been a really faith-enhancing relationship.
My school chaplain has helped me grow my faith, as every Monday we have a meeting with her and we help explore our faith.
I would say my mum. She was always very encouraging to me in my life about finding faith, about finding Jesus, and I was never interested, but she was always very persevering with me, and she would blast Christian music around the household. It would just drive me nuts, but in hindsight I'm grateful for it because it introduced me subtly into Christianity. Mothers, don't stop praying, don't stop fighting for your kids. So yeah.
For my work, I'm a carer for a chap with early onset dementia. And I know that God is in the complexities of that situation and he's with us day by day. So I've been looking for ways to incorporate prayer into our time together. So for example, in the morning after my friend has had his shower, I rub various lotions into his skin. And as I do, I've begun praying that they will be to him the soothing balm of God's presence and peace and comfort throughout his day. In these simple ways, I guess I'm trying to pray without ceasing, not sitting in the still or the quiet, but incorporating prayer into the everyday rhythms and patterns of what we do to remind ourselves that God is with us in all our circumstances throughout our day together.
I think one of the best ways of helping others is to get invested in them, to find out where their interests are, where their passions lie, what their gifts are and what they're good at. Because once you know that, you can then start to prayerfully guide and suggest ways that God might want to use them specifically to build up the body of the church. Getting to know someone, getting invested in them is a really time-consuming way of helping them, but it's one of the most valuable ways, I believe, of helping them grow in their faith.
We may not always know what we exactly did to help others. A young person the other day left an unwrapped pair of earrings hanging on my door knocker to say thank you for how I'd helped her over the years. I hadn't a clue how significant this was for her faith. I'm never pushy, but gentle, and I try to enable steps of faith and not expecting giant leaps, although I don't limit God.
I think the time that I found it hardest to grow my faith was when a few years ago I was basically only working nights. It basically meant that I had no time for meeting up with other people because I was either working at crazy hours or I was sleeping at crazy hours. I think that God created us to live in community with one another, and so of course it would be the times that I've been isolated from other people that I would find hardest.
Interestingly, difficult times have increased my fervour for hearing and sensing God at a deeper level. The hardest times have often been when life has felt easy, which can bring about a complacency. Not that I want to be in crises in order to grow. I think that the key is to be alert to my engagement with God at all times in this really confusing and materialistic world.